In this video, after a good first race with my new wheel and pedals, we hit our first road bump, and it was here in the very next race, and it was a big one. I didn't want to share this one with you, to be honest, but I show you guys warts and all on this channel. The journey is what makes achieving goals fun, and it's going to be a tough one for me, but here we go. Hey guys, Eerie is here and welcome along to another video. If this is your first time here and you like watching all sorts of sim racing related stuff, subscribe now and click the bell icon so you get notified of every video I upload and you don't miss a thing. So you join us here in Quali in the Chick-fil-A Lexus Group 4 car. Now Chick-fil-A, for those who don't know, is an American food outlet that I haven't actually been to but is up there with the In-N-Out burgers, which are an absolute must-do next time I'm in the States. But getting away from food, this is for the next Manufacturers Series race here at Maggiore. It's one of the shorter variations, which includes the very difficult to get right final corner. Now this isn't my strongest combo, bit of a disclaimer here. So as you may have seen from the title, I wasn't expecting an easy ride in this one, and I certainly didn't get it. Also, with the success of that difficult final corner being pinned on your ability to brake and us having new pedals, making a success of this one here is going to be even more difficult. But in Quali we put in a decent lap and we were on for another good one here, almost 4 tenths up through the second sector, which would have almost halved the gap to the pole sitter, bringing us right up the order. Until unfortunately this happened. Someone just hits us into the side here through the final corner, ruining any chance of us improving, and we head into the race qualifying right down the order, increasing the size of the uphill battle ahead as we try and get somewhere near that 7th place, which is our door number in this one. So here we are in the race then. After it was all said and done in Quali, had I improved by the amount that we had through sector number 2, we would have actually been starting in the top 10. But it wasn't to be, and we're here in 15th, and we're going to do the best we can. Coming down into the first corner here, still getting used to the new brake pedals, I get this all wrong and just about keep it out of the wall. And then we just about keep it out of the Brit on the outside as we come back onto the track 2, who we find ourselves side by side with coming into the tricky turn 4. I'm forced to the inside, meaning I run wide subsequently on the exit, and then there's contact. The Ferrari meanwhile comes down the inside and manages to overtake us both. There are further issues into the big broken turn for turn number 5, all very sloppy there and very embarrassing, but as I said in the intro, I show you warts and all on this channel, remember. I am completely transparent, which I think is what you guys like. I try my best always to drive as well as I can, but as we all know, it doesn't always go perfectly, as you have just seen there. Jumping ahead here slightly to lap number 2 now, we are going to run wide on the exit, which is going to allow, if you look on the radar there, the Toyota up alongside. I'm going to give him room as we come into the S's here, and we're going to go too wide through the S's. Keep your eye on the radar again, as 3 more cars are going to join the party on the radar. Incredibly close racing here. Thankfully there's going to be no contact here as we come up and over the hill up towards the final corner. Amazingly there is no contact. It's absolutely notorious for contact, this one here, and I'm going to try as hard as I can to keep these guys behind me for as long as possible, despite all the attacks which I know are incoming on the horizon. So the guy who hit us in Quali is now with us in the race and is going to try to overtake. You can see him on the radar there, so I'm just going to anticipate this and try and position my car, knowing he's going to throw it up the inside to hold on to the position. Coming into turn number 3, I straighten up, let him through, but get back on the power as early as possible to cut back underneath him and keep the place. This is the first attack thwarted. The second attack comes shortly afterwards, at the corner where he punted me in quali, ironically, and despite being 3/10 behind, too far behind to make a legit move in my view, I was right to anticipate he was going to go for it anyway. I delay my turn in, let him just fly by and miss the apex, and then cut back myself underneath him in an identical defence as earlier on in the lap. This cat and mouse game continued for the rest of this lap, lap number 4, as the Swiss guy here got involved and got up the inside. He took the apex a bit wide there, so I turned on in him slightly, which again, not overly proud of, but then me and the Mustang pass him in the much more powerful cars as we start lap number 5. Now, as we come into the first corner here, I'm going to find that I leave the door open just ajar to turn number 2, and the Swiss guy is going to oblige fully and step right through it. But that's fine. I know the Toyota is much more nimble and the Lexus is quicker here in a straight line, so I'm going to stay behind him until we get to the straight and then make a move into the big braking zone at turn number 5. So here we go then. As anticipated, we get on the power and we just drive straight past him. And I'm just going to come into the braking zone here, just about manage to get it stopped as someone goes off up in front, but I've left him enough room here as he's going to come up the inside in sort of a deja vu move as before. We're going to go too wide through the S's here, and I'm just about to leave him enough room side by side. Here we go, and by giving him room I kind of sacrifice myself a little bit here. I cannot keep the speed and lose the position. I could have just taken my own line and punted him off, but that isn't really my style. I'd rather lose a position fairly than keep one unfairly. So unfortunately down to 17th we go, and we'll try and keep our head down here as we come down the hill to start lap number 6 to take any position that we can back later on. Jumping ahead to lap number 7 now, and the Lexus in 14th has been caught and is holding up the 2 cars we were battling with previously behind. Now just watch this, the delta shows that I'm almost a second, 9/10ish behind these 2, and because the Toyota tries a move in a very unwise place, the Mustang has to defend, compromising both their lines, and they lose a ton of time. So much time in fact that I'm going to get involved and make a move on the Toyota that I was almost a second behind 2 corners ago. That was a great example, guys, of thinking about when is the best time to make a move through trying to gain a place and not being patient. That Toyota has just gone and lost himself one. Now I think he was quite frustrated by this, because as we fast forward here to lap number 8, he is kind enough to show me the respect I did in the S's a few laps ago, yeah right, and just punted me right out of the way, getting his position back. Now that is one way to gain a position, kids, but don't do that. But I'm not really too worried about it. This is one of those races where you just need to get your head down and then finish it, get yourself out of there, hopefully limiting as much damage to your driver rating and safety rating as possible. So as we watch the guys battle up ahead, I'm going to take a moment, as you will have noticed through a few of my faux pas in this one, that the biggest adjustment with this new gear is the braking. As I mentioned in the last video, the low cell is a completely different experience to my last wheel, and you will actually see from time to time the brake pedal flicker, and that means there's nothing wrong with the brake like we had in the G29, but that is because I rest my foot on the brake when I'm not using it. And as a testament to how sensitive these low cells are, they pick up the slightest bit of movement. So after this race I'm going to go and set myself a dead zone on the pedal in these settings, which just means that even though there is pressure on the brake where I'm resting my foot there, it won't apply the brakes until I push beyond that dead zone, which will help me further, I think. Now this race wasn't my finest, and I considered canning it, to be honest, and then imagining it didn't happen, not showing you guys it and going again. But I didn't want to get into that habit. I told myself no and reminded myself that I show you guys everything, warts and all, on this channel. And if every goal was easy, there wouldn't be a journey. And in this case, if getting to A+ was easy, everybody would be at that level. The journey and the story is what it's all about. It is all about the ups and in this case the downs. This race was certainly a down, but this goal is a marathon and not a sprint. I'm just going to dust myself off and we're going to move on to the next one, which I hope, despite this poor show, you will all join me for. So after that one, we're going to come through and take 17th place. And I'm not even going to show you how many championship points we got. I think it was under 300. Absolutely embarrassing. But I'm glad that I've got the community that makes me feel comfortable enough to put these kind of videos out there. Even when it doesn't go great, I'm going to dust myself off and move on to the next one. And for now guys, that is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. Thanks again so much for watching guys, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.